Will be recorded and made available on the internet. I just thought I'd make that loud so that some of our people talking. Okay, we can move on to item 1.2 of our agenda, which is our roll call. I'll ask our clerk, Jesse Clark, to please call the roll.
Thank you, Mayor Lamshead. Are you present?
I am present.
Deputy Mayor Armstrong?
I am present.
Councillor Franzen?
Present.
Councillor Braybrook?
Present.
Councillor Cadigan?
Present.
For staff, we have Michelle Wilson, CAO. Present. Donna Taggart, Director of Finance Treasurer. Present. Steve Rockbank, Director of Emergency Services.
Present.
Dylan Kosh, Director of Recreation and Facilities. Is online. Evan Grieger, Director of Public Works.
Present.
Eric Gay, Director of Building and Planning, CBO.
Present.
Adele Arbor, Planner.
Present.
Bianca Dragicevic, Deputy Clerk.
Present.
Derek Bertram, Planning Technician.
Present.
Megan Laskovich, Fire Prevention Inspector.
Present.
And Jesse Clark, Director of Corporate Services Clerk, is present.
Okay, thank you very much, Jesse Clark. We can move on now to item 1.3 of our agenda, which is land acknowledgement and moment of reflection. We respectfully acknowledge that Trent Lakes and Peterborough County are located in the Treaty 20 Mississauga territory and in the traditional territory of the Mississauga and Chippewa nations, collectively known as the Williams Treaty First Nation, which include Curve Lake, Hiawatha, Alderville, Scugog Island, Rama, Beausoleil, and Georgina Island First Nations. Trent Lakes respectfully acknowledges that the Williams Treaty First Nations are the stewards and caretakers of these lands and waters in perpetuity, and that they continue to maintain this responsibility to ensure their health and integrity for generations to come. We will now take a moment to reflect on these principles and our duties and responsibilities as members of council. Thank you, everyone. We can now move on to item 2 of our agenda, which is the approval of the agenda as circulated. I would entertain a motion for the same. See Councillor Franzen for a mover, Councillor Cadigan for a seconder. I will call for the vote. All in favor? That motion has carried. We have approved our agenda. Now we can move on to item 3 of the agenda, which is disclosure of pecuniary interest. If any member of council has a pecuniary interest on any item on the agenda, please disclose it now or anytime during the meeting prior to discussing anything on the item you have a pecuniary interest in. I'm seeing no hands. Now we can move on to item 4 of the agenda, which is adoption of minutes. Item 4.1 is our regular council meeting from April 21st, and item 4.2 is the statutory public meeting from April 21st. And item 4.3 is our special council meeting from April 25th. We can do them all at the same time, or we can discuss them one at a time at the discretion of council. Councillor Braber, go ahead.
Motion for both.
3?
All 3.
Okay. Motion for all 3. Do I have a seconder for that motion? Councillor Franzen for a seconder. Any further conversation about that item? Seeing none, I will call for the vote. All in favor? That motion has carried. Now we can move on to item 5 of our agenda, which is committees and boards. Item 5.1 is our Committee of Adjustment and Appeals Committee from March the 3rd, 2026. Anyone like to speak to that? Councillor Franzen, go ahead.
I just make a motion to approve.
Okay. Do I have a seconder for that motion? Deputy Mayor Armstrong for a seconder. Any further conversation about the minutes? Seeing none, I will call for a vote. All in favor? That motion has carried. And we can move on to item 5.2 of the agenda, which is liaison reports for council boards and committees. Does anyone have any report? Seeing no hands, so we can move on to item 6 of our agenda, which is our statutory public meeting pursuant to the Planning Act. And I would entertain a motion to suspend our regular meeting and go into a public meeting. Councillor Cadigan for a mover, Deputy Mayor Armstrong for a seconder. I will call for the vote. All in favor? That motion has carried. So we are now in a public meeting, and I will ask Derek Bertram to please do a preamble.
Thank you.
Planning technician.
Thank you. Through you, Mayor Lambshead, this is a public meeting under Section 34 of the Planning Act to consider an amendment to the municipality's comprehensive zoning bylaw B 2014-070. A notice of public meeting for today's application containing prescribed information was circulated to all landowners within a 120-meter radius of the subject lands at least 20 days prior to this meeting, and a sign was posted on the subject land in accordance with the Planning Act. The notice was also mailed to all prescribed agencies, public bodies, and persons in accordance with the regulations. Anyone wanting to be notified of any decision from today's public meeting must either inform myself or the clerk, and a notice of passing will be mailed out to them, setting out the method and manner in which appeals may be made to the Ontario Land Tribunal. If a person does not send in a written comment prior to the passing of the bylaw or make an oral submission at the public meeting, that person may not be entitled to appeal the decision.
Okay, thank you very much, Derek Bertram. Please go ahead and introduce the file.
Thank you, through you, Mayor and members of council. On today's agenda, we have zoning bylaw amendment 2606 submitted by agent Norman Lee on behalf of owner David Lee for a vacant property located on the southeast corner of Salmon Lake accessed by Fire Route 355A. The purpose of the application is to rezone the subject lands from rural to shoreline residential private access with an exception to support the construction of a single detached dwelling with an attached accessory garage serviced by a Class 4 sewage system, a detached accessory structure, and an accessory boathouse. The current zoning, rural, does not support residential development as it does not meet the frontage requirements of section 4.12 of the comprehensive zoning bylaw, as the subject lands do not abut an approved public road. The municipality engaged in pre-consultation process with the applicant in the summer of 2024, and a letter of complete application was provided. The applicant has provided the following documents to support their proposal: a site evaluation and restoration plan by GHD, confirmation from the Ministry of Natural Resources and Forestry that the work permit was obtained in 2008 for the construction of the road accessing the applicant's property over Crown land, a bylaw from 2001 for the purchase of the shore road allowance, and a stage 1, stage 2 archaeological assessment by Northeastern Archaeological Associates with a clearance letter from the Ministry of Citizenship and Multiculturalism having registered the study. The EIS was supportive of the development and recommended mitigation measures to be implemented on the property, including remediation of the peninsula area. There is a planning report on today's agenda from the municipality's external planner, Chris Jones, which is in support of the rezoning, subject to the applicant entering into site plan agreement, which shall include the recommendations of the site evaluation and restoration plan by GHD, and entering into an agreement for the use of a municipal unopened road allowance as Fire Route 355A travels over a portion of unopened road allowance to the south of the property. Comments from the municipality's deputy chief building official have been received with no objection towards the proposal. And that concludes the summary of zoning bylaw amendment 2606. And I turn the floor back over to you, Mr. Mayor, to resume public meeting.
Okay, thank you very much, Derek Bertram, planning technician. Is there anyone in the gallery that would like to speak for or against this application? Please state your name for the record if you choose to. Okay. Is there anyone in the virtual gallery that would like to speak for or against this application?
Seeing no hands?
I'm not seeing anything. A little bit different format for our go-to-webinar, so we're dealing with that, or I am trying to. So, okay, no comments from the public. So is there any comments or questions from council? I'm seeing nothing. I just have a comment. Beautiful piece of property in there. You've got a gold mine in there, literally. I mean, figuratively. But yeah, good application. Okay, thank you very much. Now, we can now go to item 7 of our agenda, which is business arising from our statutory public meeting. And I would entertain a motion to reconvene our regular council meeting. Councillor Franzen for a mover, Councillor Braybrook for a seconder. I will call for the vote. All in favor? That motion has carried. We are now back in our regular council meeting, and we can move on to item 7.1 of the agenda, which is Derek Bertram, our planning technician. Would you like to speak to this item, please?
Certainly. Thank you. Through you, Mayor Lambshead and members of council, there was a public meeting held for file 2606, and municipal staff are recommending the following. That council received the report from the planner for the zoning bylaw amendment file number 2606, and further that council support the approval of the zoning bylaw amendment file number 2606, pending the confirmation that the planning department is in receipt of a signed site plan agreement and encroachment agreement.
Okay, thank you very much, Derek Bertram. Anyone in council have any comments or questions, or go ahead, Councillor Braybrook.
Thank you, through you, Mayor. Derek, you mentioned council support approval. It says council defer. Should it be defer or?
Oh, sorry. Yes. Well, defer the approval of zoning bylaw until a site plan agreement and encroachment agreement have been entered into.
Make a motion to receive the report and to defer approval of zoning bylaw amendment file number 26-06 pending staff's recommendation.
Okay, do I have a seconder for that motion? Deputy Mayor Armstrong, any further comments? Go ahead.
With a comment, if I may. Just a comment, it was not noted in the planning report that this is a lake that is at capacity in our official plan. However, this is obviously a lot of record, so there's no issue with it being developed, but it probably should have been noted in the planning report that this is in fact a lake that's at capacity because of further development impacts.
And it is a trout lake too.
Yes.
because it's
Yeah.
travel.
That capacity.
Thank you. Any other conversation? Seeing none, I will call for the vote. All in favor? That motion has carried. Okay, thank you. We can move on to item 8 of our agenda, which is presentations. We have none. We can move on to item 9 of our agenda, which is delegations, and 9.1. Jeff Cheshire, would you like to come to the podium or your representative and speak to this item, please? Absolutely.
So this is Evan, he's helping me with some of this paperwork because I get bogged
Okay.
down in way too much paperwork.
Well, I do understand that.
He just wants to say a few words about what we're hoping to accomplish here. And something that I learned I had no idea was how much we actually contribute to the township when we pay our taxes on our tonnage. But Evan, he's going to touch on that, and he's got some other things just to.
Yeah,
Thank you very
so
much. Go ahead, Evan.
thank you. Appreciate the time and appreciate the planner for helping us with this one to get it to this meeting so quick. But yeah, for this request we're making, we do want to touch base on the fact that we feel it does align with the economic development platform of the municipality of Trent Lakes, both in business attraction, business retention and expansion, as well as the business creation aspect that you're looking for. And as Jeff said, to touch on the taxation of the operation of surface mines in this municipality. It's 61% allocated to the lower tier municipality from every fee that's paid per ton that comes out of the surface mine extraction process. So over a course of 5 years, the 2 quarry permits in question have done over $793,000 in taxation. The 61% allocated to the township is over $480,000. And we do recognize and respect some of the views coming from neighboring residential owners. We do, however, feel that with mitigation processes in place, both on our site plan and that the M&R helps enforce, that both can coexist, the economic viability of the surface mine and the residential viability of neighbors can concurrently carry on. I wouldn't mind also mentioning just to add to the fact of economic development that Trent Lakes has, the Canadian Federation of Independent Business has recorded a drop in business opens against, or sorry, a drop in business closures versus business openings in the last 6 quarters. And there is over 55% of small business owners in Canada, they're saying they would not recommend starting a new business. And it's meetings like this when I think we do all have the opportunity to help change that for the next generation and help young people and maybe even older people keep the process going so we have a bright, prosperous future for everyone, both big cities, rural communities, upper tier municipalities, lower tier municipalities, that everyone has the chance we can continue to build the future based on what we're doing. I think that covers some of it. Is there anything else you want to mention?
That's good.
And if there's any questions, comments about anything that's on our proposal, we're certainly happy to answer them and help mitigate as best we can.
Okay, perfect. Thank you very much. Anyone on council have any comments?
Thank you, Mayor Lamson. Thank you very much for that. I do have a question for you. The reason this is being brought forward is because there's a difference between what you're asking for in terms of a change in operating hours versus what we saw at the last meeting.
And that was,
And specifically that loading hours would, yes, still be requested from 5:30 to 7, but crushing would only be from 6:30 to 7. And you're not asking for any weekend hours. I believe those are the key differences. My question to you is, what have you amended the application to MNRF to reflect those new operating
yes.
requests?
Yes, and the MNRF will get correspondence of this meeting and the council's decision, so it would reflect the decision made for the most current request made to council.
Great, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Any other comments or questions? See, now I just have a comment about the backup beepers. If you do change to those other backup beepers, it is a completely different sound. It is not as intrusive as that beep, beep, beep that drives me crazy every morning. But it's more of a buzz or a hum that is really not disruptive to animals. So I think that's a good step forward. Okay, any other comments? I'm seeing none. I would entertain a motion to receive that delegation. Councillor Franzen for a mover, Deputy Mayor Armstrong for a seconder. I will call for the vote. All in favor? That motion is carried. Thank you very much for your delegation. Appreciate the information. Now we can move on to item 10 of our agenda, which is staff reports. And item 10.1 is building and planning, and 10.1.1 is prior to any discussion of this item, I would need to entertain a motion to reconsider the motion that was carried. It was first carried. Councillor Brayberg, you would make that motion?
I make that
Okay.
motion.
Do I have a seconder for that motion? Deputy Mayor Armstrong for a seconder, so we can have some conversation. Okay, now I will call for the vote. All in favor for that motion? Okay, we can reconsider this decision that was first carried. So, and I think we move on now to Adele Arbor, our planner. Would you like to speak to this item, please?
Thank you. And through you, Mayor Lambshead, this report is in reference to additional information and clarification provided by the owner of 2 quarries on Bass Lane Road resulting from the April 7th council report. The council resolution from April 7th was to advise the Ministry of Natural Resources and Forestry that council is opposed to the amended hours of operation requested for the 2 quarries, that council had concerns with the sequential shift in phasing of extraction, and further that staff be directed to forward all public comments received to the ministry. We received information from the property owner and clarification, and it's been identified in this report that the loading hours are being requested from 5:30 a.m. to 7:00 p.m. Monday through Friday. This request is to accommodate existing customers, as these 2 Bass Lane quarries cannot provide existing customers with 3 loads a day within existing operating hours. They require earlier load times to meet market demand and remain competitive. Crushing, they identified operations starting at 6:30 a.m. to 7 p.m. Monday through Friday, year-round, excluding the annual deer hunt. Phasing, they would like to be able to have all 4 phases open at one time. All phases can operate concurrently for an effective surface extraction approach, both economically and environmentally. Installation of low decibel reverse alarms to mitigate operational noise, no 24-hour crushing, and no weekend operations. The Ministry of Natural Resources and Forestry is the approval authority for quarry operations, and the municipality is a commenting agency. MNRF, as the approval authority, will be assessing any impacts and comments received regarding the additional hours of operation requested. As this report was advanced to the council agenda, I also forwarded it to the Ministry of Natural Resources in order to keep them apprised of what's happening at the municipal level. Planning staff did notify the public who had provided comments to the April 7th report that additional information had been received from property owner and that another report would be going to council on May 5th. And it was available on the municipal website in the council agenda. Comments in opposition to extended hours for the 2 Bass Lane quarries have been received from Laura Bryce, Diane and David Newsom, Randy Victors, Chris and Renata Carmichael, Leanne and Darren Babineau. And council has this correspondence. It was provided to council prior to the council meeting. Therefore, Mr. Mayor, it's being recommended that council receive this report from the planner regarding the revised changes requested by Buckhorn Sand and Gravel, letter dated April 23rd, 2026, to the operating hours for Bass Lane Quarries, license number 624632 and license number 625888, and further that council provide directions to staff on how to proceed based upon this additional information provided by Buckhorn Sand and Gravel, and further that council direct staff, should the extended hours of operation be approved by the Ministry of Natural Resources, that an updated quarry license and road maintenance agreement to reflect the revised hours be forwarded to council for approval. And further, that council direct staff to forward all public comments received from the municipality to the ministry for consideration. And I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Okay, thank you very much, Adele Arbor. Does anyone on council have any comments or questions? See, Councillor Braber, go ahead.
Thank you, through your mayor. I just have a general comment from both meetings. When this matter came up on the April 5th council meeting, I found the information provided to be unclear as to the intentions and basically what Buckhorn Sand and Gravel's ask was. I did not support staff's recommendation at that time. My reason for not supporting the April 5th, 2026 staff report included that I was unclear as to what the report was supporting and what it meant by 24/7 tree clearing. The proposed hours of operation requested were Monday to Friday, 5:30 a.m. to 7 p.m. and Saturday, 5:30 a.m. to 1 p.m. year-round activities. Tree clearing, same hours from August 1st to March 31st year-round, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So again, unclear. I was unclear as to what remaining silent meant as to the hours of operation and other quarries that took this position. I have since come to understand that remaining silent does not provide details for any hours of operation. Fast forward to today's meeting, and staff have presented an amended report which purports to clarify Buckhorn Sand and Gravel's request. Staff's updated report provides a clearer picture of what is being requested. My understanding of the clarification is that the loading hours will be 5:30 a.m. to 7 p.m. Monday through Friday, crushing 6:30 a.m. to 7 p.m. Monday through Friday year-round, excluding annual deer hunt. Now, just a quick question, would that also be excluding weekends?
Through Mr. Mayor, that's correct.
Okay. And no 24-hour crushing and no weekends of any operation. So given the clarifications in staff's report and its reasonableness compared to the other quarries' hours of operation and processing, I support this recommendation before council today.
Okay, is that making a motion or is that, sorry, go ahead.
Through you, Mayor Lamshead, through the reconsideration, the original main motion is back on the floor, and that was to oppose to. So if the recommendation, if the council's desire to support it, this would first have to fail, and then a new motion could be made in support of the changes.
Through you, Mayor, would that be a rescinding of the formal, or do we have to vote on that again?
Through you, a request for reconsideration brings back the main motion that was originally voted on. The original motion that was voted on is on the screen here, and that was to oppose the amended hours of operation. If that fails, then a new motion can be put forward, which could be in support of.
So let's be clear. We have to vote on whether or not we're opposing this first. So we need that motion.
It's on the floor.
It's on the floor already? Okay, so we are now looking at that motion. Go ahead, Deputy Mayor Armstrong.
Okay, thank you. I think I'm clear.
Okay, you're clear now?
Yeah, I think so. I was just going to make a comment about the motion that is now on the floor in opposition. I appreciate the clarification on the hours, and I think that there was at least an attempt to address some of the concerns, but I don't think it fully does. I mean, loading starting at 5:30 is still a noisy process. And so I don't see that that has mitigated the concerns that nearby residents have. Appreciate that you're not doing anything on weekends. That's really a good step forward. But I think that the concerns raised by the residents are still valid. And for that reason, I would still, and the other thing that still hasn't been made clear to me, and you raised it, Councillor Braybook, is how this operation is competitively disadvantaged by nearby operations, because we really don't know what their actual operations are. We know that it's silent on their license because it was before a certain period. I understand that, but every quarry is a business operation and they will have operating hours. We just don't know what those are. And so we don't know for sure that there is a basis for suggesting that this quarry is competitively disadvantaged. It may be, it may very well be. But we don't have that information. It has not been made.
Unfortunately, you had your opportunity to discuss it. Things first, that this isn't an open meeting, so we can hold the comment for later. Councilor Braver, go ahead.
Through you, Mayor Lamb to Deputy Mayor Armstrong. How did I know you were going to ask that question? Actually, in the report, it does lay out again the chart for I think it was 4 or 5 other quarries and where they do state their hours. So, for instance, Bass Lane Quarry, which is Young's Quarry, crushing allowed 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. not on Saturdays, year round. 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. Monday to Friday, no crushing or shipping. Loading for shipping is September 1st to June 30th, Monday to Friday, 5:30 a.m. to 9 p.m. And Saturday, year round, 6 a.m. to 12 p.m. So loading all year, even on Saturdays, starting at 6 a.m. The Milk House Quarry, which is at Flynn's Corner, site prep and rehab, 6 a.m. to 7 p.m. Monday to Saturday. Excavation and processing, 7 p.m. to 7 p.m. or 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Monday to Saturday. And shipping, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Monday to Saturday. So these two comparables are operating on the Saturdays, and they are. It isn't any different than what the new request that's coming today. So.
Okay, so any other conversation? We're going to vote on the original. Oh, sorry, Adele, go ahead.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, the previous report I did on April 7th identified that it was very difficult to compare quarry to quarry because they all have different haulage requirements that are under their licenses, and there was no comparable because they extract different things as well. So it was almost impossible to do, but I did include the various quarries that were in the general location, and the consultant had provided a table of various other quarries that were operating with their operating hours and things of that nature.
Okay, any other conversation? So let's be clear, we have a motion on the table, and we're going to vote to support or not support that motion. To support it means that the change doesn't happen. To not support it means we get to vote on another motion. I will call for the vote. All in favor? That motion has failed. So is anyone prepared to make another motion? Councilor Braver, go ahead.
I'll make a motion. The council received today's report, and the council supports staff's recommendations.
Okay, do I have a seconder for that motion? Councilor Franzen for a seconder. Any further conversation?
I'd
Councilor
like to comment. Generally, I'm not very supportive of quarries, but in this case, I think that we have to develop a level playing field for the quarries that we have out there. And that's why I'm supporting this motion.
Okay, any other comments? Seeing none, I will call for the vote. All in favor? That motion has carried. Okay, thank you very much, staff. Thank you very much, council. We can move on to our next item. Okay, we can go to item 10.1.2, and Adele Arbor, our planner, would you like to speak to this item, please? See, I've got you all, you have a pile of papers again.
Thank you, and through you, Mayor Lambshead. This report is in reference to a proposed shoreline protection and alteration bylaw and proposed bylaw to amend the existing bylaw establishing site plan control. There was a regulation passed by the province, which is OREG 254-23, and when it was introduced, it permitted that a site plan control could be imposed on a parcel of land containing no more than 10 residential units, and such parcel includes any land within 120 meters of wetland, a lake, river, including creeks and streams. So that was the reasoning why we were amending our site plan control bylaw along with the proposed shoreline protection bylaw, just to provide some clarification. There have been several resolutions from council to develop a shoreline preservation and tree protection policy. The Environmental Advisory Committee selected a subcommittee to work on preserving shorelines within the municipality, and this committee developed a pamphlet titled waterfront property owners information, and it was included as an attachment to the report. Planning staff worked closely with the subcommittee to develop shoreline protection regulations. While researching the practices of other municipalities, it was determined that a bylaw appeared to be the better choice than the development of a policy. Policies are guidelines and bylaws are rules to which there are consequences. In determining the extent of the protective vegetative buffer, the riparian zone was identified as the most significant area for protection, also known as the ribbon of life. Attached as Appendix B to the report is an illustration and description of resilient shorelands identifying each zone and its importance. The report also identifies current legislation, provincial, county, and municipal policy direction that serves to enhance, preserve, and protect shorelines. Highlights of the proposed shoreline protection and alteration bylaw include the following. There is a summary overview of the bylaw as a first page to the bylaw, as sometimes bylaws are difficult to navigate and understood by the public. So it was determined by the subcommittee that we should have a certain summary to this bylaw that the public could better understand the reason for it. The Municipality of Trent Lakes is taking the lead in initiating environmental stewardship. It allows for general shoreline maintenance activities to occur, such as gardening, weeding, raking, and minor trimming of vegetation. It introduces protection to safeguard continued health of our waterways. Compliance is required by an order should a violation of the bylaw be determined. So the committee was very adamant that they wanted to see compliance as opposed to issuing a penalty notice at the initial phase if there was some violation of the bylaw. Relief from the bylaw can be applied for. Any relief of the bylaw which may be denied can be appealed to the appeals committee. The administrative monetary penalty system also applies to this bylaw. A vegetative buffer may be decreased by 25% of the shoreline to provide access to the water and provide a view, while retention of 75% of native vegetation is a target that we try to achieve within a 20-meter distance from the shoreline. The proposed shoreline protection and alteration bylaw is consistent with the PPS, conforms to the Trent Lakes official plan policies and County of Peterborough official plan policies. It was developed with the appropriate regard to matters of provincial interest, including but not limited to the protection of ecological systems, including natural areas, features and functions, the orderly development of safe and healthy communities, the protection of public health and safety as set out in certain sections of the Planning Act. The bylaw strikes an appropriate balance between public and private interests, including matters of environmental protection and the interest of private landowners as required by the Planning Act. It represents good planning and is in the public interest. So we intend to have this proposed bylaws, the two of them being the shoreline protection and alteration bylaw, along with the site plan control bylaw, publicized and to receive public input. And we also intend on holding a public meeting. So we will put it out there so the public are able to respond. And to date, we've also received one lengthy comment from a resident of Trent Lakes, and it's very much appreciated because that's what the intent is, to publicize this information. So it's being recommended that council receive the report from the planner regarding the proposed shoreline protection and alteration bylaw and a bylaw to amend the existing site plan control area bylaw, and further that council supports the draft shoreline protection and alteration bylaw and draft site plan control bylaw, and further that council directs staff to widely publicize the two above noted draft bylaws, and further that council directs staff to schedule a public meeting regarding both draft bylaws. And I'd be happy to answer any questions council may have.
Thank you very much, Adele Arbor. Does anyone on council have any comments or questions? Deputy Mayor Armstrong, go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor Lamson. As a member of that subcommittee, I just wanted to make a couple of comments. First, there was a question raised in the letter we received about why a 20-meter shoreline buffer. Perfectly valid question. The scientific studies that exist define this ribbon of life anywhere from 15 meters to 30 meters. So there's no consensus on it. Although the most frequently cited metric is 20 meters of shoreline buffer is what's needed to protect the lake health. So the subcommittee recommended that 20 meters be used in the proposed bylaw because that is the most frequently cited in the scientific studies, but it's also consistent with what Halliburton defined as the ribbon of life. It's less than City of Kawartha Lakes, which cites 30 meters. So we thought we'd put that out there based on those things and see what the public says. Maybe 15 is better. I'm sure some people want 30, but that was a starting point for which we wanted to get public opinion on. Also, I wanted to highlight just a couple of things. In many ways, it's a light bylaw. In Halliburton, you require a permit in order to do anything to your shoreline. We did not want to go that far. We felt that was a little draconian, administratively burdensome, and not the intent of this. We're not trying to punish people or make it more difficult for them to change their shoreline. We just want them to do it in a responsible way that maintains the natural vegetation. Secondly, and Adele mentioned it, the intent is not to be punitive, so that the first intervention, if you will, would be voluntary compliance. Did you know? This is why. So we'd like you to please put back the natural vegetation. Thirdly, this only applies to new development. So if you already have a lawn or whatever, you don't have to change it, although certainly we would encourage you to consider naturalizing it. But this bylaw does not apply to that. It's only new development. And the fourth point is that it's flexible. We recognize that some shorelines are different than others. Some lots are different than others. Some building setbacks are less than others because of previous laws. And so there is a process for negotiating something different than the specifics that are in this bylaw. So those are just some comments that I think may help our understanding of what we put forward.
Thank you very much for your comments. Appreciate that. Councilor Franz, go ahead, please.
So I'd like to make a motion. I'd like a motion to defer this, these bylaws till after the municipal elections. I have a couple reasons for doing so. I believe there's quite a few steps we need before we could approve this bylaw. We need a staff report on enforcement of the proposed bylaws and the costs. We should send this report to cottage associations for comment. Public meetings, I believe we need a public meeting in all of our community centers to catch the whole municipality. And those are the reasons I would like to move to defer this bylaw till after the municipal election.
Okay, that's a motion you made. Do I have a seconder for that motion? Councilor Cadigan for a seconder. Any further conversation? Seeing none, I will call for a vote. All in favor? That motion is carried. We will defer this till after the municipal election. I think there's a lot of, we even in there, these are my comments, is that we would have been scheduling public meetings had we moved forward with this, and we still will be, I'm sure.
And this is absolutely no criticism of the
No.
report. This is so that the new council can work on this in a timely manner.
I did have a comment that I want to share from a resident. Is that he wanted to increase the size of his cottage. He did, but he had to move 30 meters from the shoreline. So the entire shoreline was disrupted from the original cottage. Now he'd like to make his boathouse bigger. So what would he have to do? He has to comply with all these now because he wants to build his boathouse bigger. You know, we have a devastated front yard. He now has a lawn because it was a totally disrupted, devastated front lawn. And he made it beautiful and never used chemicals ever, but now he would have to change that whole front lawn if he's going to add to the boathouse. So, and add 75%. Just a comment.
I have a comment as well, if I may.
Yeah, absolutely.
Through you, Mayor.
Point of order.
Yeah,
I believe
sorry.
we
I
passed
think
the
we passed the
and it's
motion,
done.
yeah.
So even your comment perhaps is a bit out of
Yeah.
order.
Okay, fair enough. We should have had them comments before we called for the vote. Yep. Okay, we can move on now to item 10.1.3 of the agenda, which is our planner, Adele Arbor. Would you like to speak to this item, please?
Thank you, and through you, Mayor Lambshead. This report is in reference to Bill 98, Building Homes and Improving Transportation Infrastructure Act 2026. This bill, when passed, will make changes to multiple acts, not limited to, but including the Planning Act, Building Code Act, and Development Charges Act. The minister's letter states, these changes are intended to create conditions for Ontario to build the housing and infrastructure it needs to grow and remain competitive. These proposed changes have the greatest impact on the county official plan, which is currently before the Ministry of Municipal Affairs and Housing for approval. County staff report is attached, which identifies the effects of the proposed changes to the county OP, which continues to delay its approval. Changes to the Planning Act include standardization of parkland requirements, type of land that is acceptable for parkland and may be eligible for a discounted rate. And if there isn't a decision made by the municipality regarding parkland within 90 days, it is appealable to the OLT. Development Charges Act will see changes to exempt non-for-profit retirement homes from payment of development charges, new funding to be introduced to support housing enabling infrastructure projects with funding prioritized for municipalities that reduce and maintain reductions on DCs. Ontario Building Code Act, the province will be assessing the current 2024 version to try and streamline and abbreviate the code to allow for easier and quicker construction. Efficiencies will be sought by a third-party advisory body. Following the approval of any proposed amendments and regulations, staff will implement the changes and advise council accordingly. Therefore, it's being recommended that council receive the report from the planner regarding Bill 98, Building Homes and Improving Transportation Infrastructure Act 2026, and further that council direct staff to forward this report to the County of Peterborough. Be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you very much, Adele Arbor. Does anyone on council have any comments or questions for Adele? I'll be easy on that one. Is there anyone prepared to make that motion? Or a motion?
Motion to receive.
And there's a second half of that motion. That's Brandon. I don't know if you want to.
Sorry.
It's okay.
Recommended that council receive the report from planner regarding Bill 98, Building Homes and Improving Transportation Infrastructure Act 2026, and further that council direct staff to forward this report to the County of Peterborough.
Okay, thank you for your motion. Do I have a seconder for that motion? Councillor Cadigan for a seconder. Oh, sorry.
I just have one comment.
Okay, any
that-
comments?
The development charges that they want, if you cut development charges, you get preferential treatment. I don't think that's the right approach.
That's a whole new conversation. You're correct.
No, but that was in the
Yeah,
report,
absolutely.
and
Yeah,
that struck me as reading it.
yeah, it's a different dynamic.
Yeah.
And Councillor Braver, do you have a comment as well?
Yes, so you just a general comment reviewing the county's report. The province suggests that the implementation of the timelines is going to be between January 2028 and January 21st, 2029. So that's like a year. I mean, it takes them 2, 3, 4, 5 years to do most anything, most other things. So,
yeah.
And this is really throwing a wrench into the county's processes, and
yeah,
you know, all that money is that's gonna be required to pivot to the province's new proposal is just going to cost us money. And I know that in the county's report, that's obviously we're going to be looking again to the province to recoup any monies that you know, we're going to be burdened with as ratepayers, and not only the county but Trent Lakes.
I agree. Countless hours that our staff and county staff have put into trying to get an official plan adopted. It's just absolutely bizarre. And I don't know, how many years is it now that we've been trying? Adele, you might know, pretty close to
2020,
4 or 5 years now. Yeah.
2022.
Yeah, so it's unbelievable, but it's the way it is in this world, I guess. They're changing things so fast that we can't adopt plans to catch up to what changes are coming. So, okay, any other comments? Seeing none, I will call for the vote. All in favor? That motion has carried. Thank you very much, Adele. Oh, ran away again. Okay, we can move on now to item 10.2 of our agenda, which is Public Works. We have none. 10.3 is Recreation and Facilities. We have none. 10.4 is Fire and Emergency Services, and 10.4.1. Megan Laskovic, would you like to speak to this item, please?
Yes, thank you. Through you, Mayor Lambshead. We are seeking that council supports the open air burning and fireworks bylaw, as well as an amendment to the AMPS bylaw to include amended sections to the penalties for the open air burning and fireworks bylaw.
Okay, thank you very much. Does anyone have any comments or questions for Megan? Deputy Mayor Armstrong, go ahead.
Yeah, thanks, Mayor Lamson. And thanks, Megan. I really paused when I read this because I wondered whether we should reconsider the fireworks portion of this bylaw. Several years ago, we put through a motion to restrict it to 4 weekends a year, which is a huge move forward and I think a very good one. We've heard from ratepayers many times, not all of them, but some of them, that we should be looking at a complete ban on fireworks for all the reasons that we know, the harm, the chemicals, and the impact on species and the fire risk, et cetera. So I really wondered whether I would bring forward a motion to defer this so that we could consider that, or in the spirit of Councillor Franzen's earlier comment, perhaps we simply approve this as it is and let the new council deal with it. But I'm disappointed that that wasn't raised as a point of discussion when this was brought forward to council, because I think it's a very important part of this bylaw that really resonates with our residents and worthy of some council discussion. So I'm not going to make a motion to defer it at this time, but I did want to make the comment that I think it is an opportunity to address that. But I'm willing to let that slide until the next council is in place. Because I think we've done a lot to reduce it from 365 days a year down to 4 times 12. So I think we made a huge impact, but we could have had a further discussion on it.
Okay, good comments. Thank you very much. Councillor Franz, go ahead.
I support the comments made by Deputy Mayor.
Okay, any? Councillor Caddy,
I was going to make a motion, John, if you want to.
go ahead.
The motion that council receive the report and council support the open air burning and fireworks bylaw.
Okay.
As amended.
Do I have a seconder for that? Councillor Braber for a seconder. Any further conversation? Councillor Braber, go ahead.
Thank you. Through you, Mayor. I'll third that I agree with Deputy Mayor Armstrong's comments. Just a question. At the end of your at the end of your motion, it says both bylaws are included on today's agenda for council's consideration. Did you just mean that the motion, or I was looking for a bylaw? Did I miss it?
At the end.
I believe it was included at the bottom of the report.
Go ahead, Jesse.
Through you, Mayor Lambshead. Item 4.1 is the open air burning and fireworks bylaw, and the other bylaw mentioned in Megan's recommendation was 14.4, which was to amend the AMPS bylaw to update the references to the fireworks bylaw.
Oh, okay. Sorry, do we have that? Do I have that on this?
Item 14.4.
Oh, 14.
Yeah, item
Okay.
14.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Okay, any further questions or
No, that's
comments?
fantastic.
You're okay. That's fantastic. Made me feel silly, no. I will call for the vote. All in favor? That motion has carried. Okay, thank you very much for the conversation. Thank you very much, Megan. We can move on to item 10.4.2. And Megan, our fire prevention
so
officer, skipping the last name this time because I'm sure I blew it the last time. Would you like to speak to this item, please?
Yes. Thank you. And through you, Mayor and Council, we'd like to recommend that Council supports the changes and updates to the bylaw to reduce false alarms. So the, bylaw to reduce false alarms.
Anyone have any comments or questions regarding this bylaw? Item 4.1, Dean, 14. 14.2. Councilor Brad Perkins. Any comments or questions? 14.2. 14.2.
Through you, Mayor Lamson, 10.4.2 is the report, and then under section 14 is the bylaws, and this bylaw is specifically 14.2. And 14.3 also amends the fees and charges to be consistent with the changes made in the false alarm bylaw.
Okay. Any comments or questions? Go ahead, Deputy Mayor Armstrong.
Just a question. I understand how this could happen once, perhaps, for somebody. Is there any opportunity to have a really much steeper fine for the second occurrence? I'm sure it went through legal and I know it's cost recovery, but obviously you want a strong deterrent for false alarms as well. It takes up time, it takes up resources. We really want to reduce the numbers.
Yes.
Go ahead, Megan, if you want to answer.
Sorry, Megan.
Yes, I'm so sorry. So do you mind please repeating your question?
Yeah, sure. In terms of the actual fines associated with producing a false alarm, I understand how it could happen once and maybe the first fine shouldn't be all that much. But the second one, I'd really like to fine people a large amount so that they understand this is a deterrent and we really don't want these repeats, fire alarms. So it's all about the fines and the fine schedule.
Right. So through you, Mayor and Council, it is something we can explore, I believe, to look into upping the prices if that would be the recommendation of
I
council.
think Chief Brockbank wants to speak to that as well.
Absolutely. Through you, Mayor, Deputy Mayor Armstrong. This aligns with the police bylaw as well for false alarms, I believe. And it's really a case-by-case basis. We didn't have this before.
Right.
It had been removed years ago. So we're just really catching up with getting stuff into place. So it is a case-by-case basis. Sometimes an automatic alarm could be as much as the power going on and off from a hydro outage and causing the alarm.
Right.
So ultimately, it isn't really the occupant or the owner or the alarm systems. It isn't their fault. So it is a case-by-case basis. So we do have, this is to be able to have the opportunity to charge. So we can add to this as well for cost recovery on top of this. So.
Okay. If I could just
Good idea,
comment on that. And that makes sense. That's why I said the first instance, yeah, could be anything. So it's not really their fault. Something is better than nothing. So at least if we're putting something in place, that's great. We can revisit it another time if necessary.
Certain false alarms really do demand on staff time, like
Of course.
depending on what it is. Go ahead.
Yeah, and through you, Mayor. The intent behind this is we might have an alarm go off and there is no key holder. The owner doesn't want to attend the property. They don't want to do anything about it. So that's where our resources go. And then if we have to call the police to be able to force entry to see if there is to further our investigation, then that's where your time and resources go in. So we are allowed to, we have the ability to charge for our service on top of this fine as well. So.
Good. Thank you.
Good. Thank you.
Excellent. Okay. Did I have a motion already? No? Do I? Yeah. No. So I would entertain a motion. Deputy Mayor Armstrong, go ahead.
Yep. So I will make the motion. I don't see it on the thing, but to approve the bylaw as presented.
Okay. Support the changes.
Support
in
the
bylaw.
changes in the bylaw. So receive the report and support the changes to the bylaw.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Deputy Mayor Armstrong. Do I have a seconder for that motion? Councilor Cadigan for a seconder. Any further conversation? Seeing none, I will call for the vote. All in favor? That motion has carried. Thank you very much, Megan.
Thank you, Mayor and Council.
Okay, we can move on to item 10.5 of our agenda, which is finance. And 10.5.1, Donna Taggart, our Director of Finance and Treasurer. Full stop. Would you like to speak to this item?
Thank you, and through you.
So at the April 7th, 2026 meeting, council received a report regarding the transfer of the Sandy Lake Cemetery Perpetual Care Fund from the Scotia Trust to the RBC, following notification from Scotia Trust that they would no longer be acting as the trustee for these funds. So at this meeting, the resolution passed by council authorized staff to transfer the funds to the Scotia, from the Scotia Trust account to the RBC, and also authorized the mayor and clerk to sign the letter of direction appointing the RBC as signing authorities and signing the Scotia Wealth Management release acknowledgement and indemnity. So after this meeting, staff submitted a formal application to transfer the funds to the Bereavement Authority of Ontario, or the BAO, and they have now come back and requested that the resolution also include authorization for the municipality to formally act as the trustee of the care and maintenance funds as the funds total over $50,000. So therefore, the request today is that council receive the report, that council authorizes staff to transfer the funds from the Scotia Trust account to RBC, and further that council authorize the municipality of Trent Lakes to act as a trustee of the care and maintenance funds to be held at the RBC Royal Bank. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Donna Taggart. Does there anyone have any comments or questions? Seeing none, is anyone prepared to make a motion? Councilor Graber.
Quick comment.
Yep.
I've never seen you smile that much.
That's because Michelle
Stress level went from here to here.
That's all there. Thank you.
Good comment. Okay, is anyone prepared to make a motion? Deputy Mayor Armstrong. go
Sure,
ahead.
I'll make that motion to receive the report, to authorize staff to transfer the funds, and that council authorize the municipality to act as trustee.
Okay, thank you very much. Do I have a seconder for that motion? Councilor Franzen for a seconder. Any further conversation? Go ahead, Councilor
Through
Graber.
you, Mayor, it's actually a question this time. Was there any, you may have already said it, but a reason for this change?
So through you, because the funds were over $50,000, so it wasn't included in any of the literature or application that was the case, but we sent it off, and after 2 weeks, they came back and asked for that change. So I wasn't aware that that was required. So that was formalized, which is why we had to come back.
Okay, thank you. Perfect. Okay, any other questions? I will call for the vote. All in favor? That motion has carried. Thank you very much, Donna. Now we can move on to item 10.5.2 of our agenda, which is Donna Taggart, our Director of Finance and Treasurer. Would you like to speak to this item?
Thank you. And through you, I'll try to frown.
I'll try to frown.
So the financial reporting before you is required annually under section 43(1) of the Development Charges Act. So as required under the Act, background studies were completed by Watson and Associates with new development charge rates approved by council in November of 2024. So the annual reporting under this section must include a description of the fund, opening and closing balances, transactions, interest accrual amounts, and amount and source of other funding when development charges are used. So the report for 2025 does once again reflect the unfunded amount for the use of development charges for the new 49 depot build. And this unfunded amount was reduced by $82,521.36 based on what was collected in the roads and related fund in 2025. So the unfunded amount will continue to be reduced annually as development charges are collected. And we certainly hope those can continue to be collected. So there were no development charges used in 2025. And the development charge reserve had a balance of $102,663.62 at December 31st, 2025. So the request today is that council receive the report and that the treasurer's statement be made available to the public for viewing through the municipality's website, and further that a copy of the treasurer's statement be sent to the Minister of Municipal Affairs and Housing. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Donna Taggart. Does anyone have any comments or questions for Donna? Seeing none, is anyone prepared to make a motion? Mr. Cadigan, go ahead, please.
Motion that council receive the report and that the treasurer's statement be available to the public for viewing, and a copy sent to Minister of Municipal Affairs and Housing.
Okay, do I have a seconder for that motion? Councillor Raybrook for a seconder. Any further conversation? Seeing none, I will call for the vote. All in favor? That motion has carried. Okay, thank you very much, Don. We can move on now to administration. 10.6, administration, we have none. 10.7 is corporate services, and 10.7.1, Jesse Clark, our Director of Corporate Services Clerk. Would you like to speak to this item, please?
Thank you. Through you, Mayor Lamb's. Staff are just looking for direction on which delegations, if any, council would like requested for the AMO conference being held in August, in which Councillor Franzen is attending on behalf of the municipality.
Okay. Anyone on council have any comments or ideas for delegations? We have to have them in fairly soon, too, don't we?
May 21st.
May 21st, yeah. Okay. Councillor Raybrook, go ahead.
Thank you, through you, Mayor. Just off the top of my head, I know we have till September 21st, but I don't know if we can have a delegation regarding the proposed Bill 98. I don't know whether we have enough information on that and what we would be presenting or asking. Maybe that could be a coordination between the county and the municipality, but to find out how it's really going to impact Trent Lakes.
Yeah.
So that's just a maybe.
So maybe? Maybe we'll have that conversation at the county level as well, and then we can get back to you with that right away. Whether, if the county's going to do a delegation, Councillor Franz can join us.
Yeah.
We'll do a kind of a double with the support of Trent Lakes. Okay, I will ask Carl about that. I think we're deciding our AMO delegations this week as well. So, at the county
I
level.
think it's right.
Okay. Any other delegations? Anybody have any ideas for any delegations?
Yeah, thanks,
Councillor
Mayor.
Deputy Mayor.
We always try to delegate for more money for our libraries. Seems to be a losing cause because we have received no increase in their funding for 20 years, but perhaps we should raise it again.
Yeah. It certainly can't hurt. I mean, we need to be the squeaky wheel. It just seems like if you say it for 10 or 12 years, sometimes it happens.
Oh, get a change in minister is
Yeah,
probably
that's
the
true
thing
enough.
that
Yeah, true enough.
might trigger it.
I think infrastructure funding is one that we can always bring up.
That's a
I
great
mean,
idea.
we have a $10 million project going on this year, and we have potential of 2 new fire halls in the next 5 or 6 years. So
Yeah, I would really think that's important. Because right now we have no funding available to us for all our new builds like we built over there. We built the 49 depot. We're building another combo depot in Buckhorn. And it's tens of millions of dollars. It's not $5. And the province and the federal government don't support that sort of build at all. So,
I think we should make a point that that kind of infrastructure is just as important as building arenas and recreational facilities, that they
Yeah.
tend to fund them, but they won't fund the infrastructure that a municipality desperately needs.
and we are growing. We're not growing at the pace that the province wants us to grow at, but we are growing. So we need these new facilities because of growth. It is in there a little bit. It's a matter of having a spot to go. If the whole rest of the municipality falls down, at least we'll have buildings standing up. So, yeah, I'm all in favor of an infrastructure. Any other ideas? I'm going to find out what the county's going to do too, so that we can kind of ride on each other.
Coordinate these.
Yeah. Yeah, we can put it in maybe together. So I'll get back to you as soon as possible, because I do believe it's on the agenda for tomorrow to just discuss. And if it's not, I'll make sure.
It's not
We
till
do discuss.
August anyway.
We have to have our delegations in pretty soon.
No, I know.
Any other ones? I'm liking the idea. Library. Talk about the county and Bill 98 and infrastructure.
Is there any point to bring fire back?
Bringing what?
The funding for our volunteer fire department, especially the education component, which is
I might-
very expensive.
Yeah, I might throw that back over to our
To our
Chief Rockbank over there.
Through you, Mayor Lamb said, You just said it, maybe 12 years, maybe the 13th year is the magic date. It doesn't hurt. It shows that we are concerned and that we're showing our taxpayers our due diligence. They have been handing out money, but for different things like cancer mitigation and stuff like that. So they are donating to our cause, but it's the new causes that they're coming up with as we go as well. So it's not, it isn't necessarily just the training and whatnot, but.
Yeah, it's not solving the systemic problems that they've created. It's solving some of the more recent identified problems. So.
Right. And like Councillor Braybrook asked at the last meeting was like a report on what it is costing Trent Lakes. And I mentioned it will be coming this summer, but you will see what it is costing Trent Lakes to.
Terrified of that report, to be true. Okay, I'm in favor of the fire one as well. Yep, go ahead.
Through you, Mayor, to our fire chief. Steve, as far as the delegation and that report coming later on regarding the training and that sort of thing, could we, in this delegation, loosely say that the training's costing, between this and this approximate, and then it's the squeaky wheel in the ear this year, and then once that's finished, a delegation next year, we can do the delegations at most of the, Roma, AMO, and mainly those two. We can do that, so just keep hammering them.
Yeah, through you, Mayor, Councilor Braybrook, absolutely. We have the details. It's just, I was waiting for the cutoff date of July to give you the most accurate, but as for a delegation, we have all that stuff.
Okay, perfect. Well, I do believe we should be the squeaky wheel. I know these are important things, and if you don't say something, we'll never get anything. So it's well worth saying. Go ahead, Deputy
I don't
Mayor.
want to overdo this, but another area of big concern is the OPP costs. It's one of our biggest expenditures. We know they capped it last year at 11%. If they hadn't, it would have gone up 27%. And obviously that cannot continue. It's not sustainable. So given that is probably our largest uncontrollable expense, we probably should be delegating on that as well.
Lots of delegations to write. Clerk. I want to get him up, just don't want to get him. No, I mean, if you don't say it, it doesn't solve it. It won't solve itself. They'll just put a 27% increase next year. We need to be on it. Councilor Braber, go ahead.
Thank you, through you, Mayor. Yeah, I agree with that 100%. We are lobbying also through the Police Governance Ontario, used to be the OIPSB. And that is on our radar. And we do have the PGO executive. They do have an open phone with the minister.
I was wrestling with the acronym, so I'm okay with it.
Yeah, I'll try to spell that, sorry. And so that is on our radar as well, and it's consistent across the province, especially the OPP detachment board. But I mean, it's the more we say it, the more it sticks, right?
Yeah. It is the Ontario Provincial Police. We should be getting funding from the Ontario. Thank you. And I think that's another delegation. Any further delegations? You're going to be running right off your feet, Councillor Franson. I'll be there with you.
I'll miss the whole conference and just go delegation.
I'll be there to help you as long as it doesn't conflict with the county. No, I'll be there. Thank you. Okay. Do we need a motion or anything for that, or just?
Yes, please. To direct staff to request delegations for those 5 areas.
Okay. Councillor Franson for a mover. Deputy Mayor Armstrong for a seconder. I will call for the vote. All in favor? That motion is carried. Those 5 delegations? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 delegations. You will be busy. Okay, thank you. Now we can move on to item 11 of our agenda, which is notice of motion. I don't think there's any notices of motion. Did I miss something? Oh, I scribbled so much on this item on my agenda that I missed one item. Item 10.7.2 is Jesse Clark, our Director of Corporate Services Clerk. Would you like to speak to this item?
Thank you. Through you, Mayor Lamb's, Sheffield Greens has submitted an application for a temporary extension to their liquor license to allow an extended patio for the summer season. Upon receipt of the application, staff circulated it internally to building and bylaw, planning, and fire departments, and no concerns were identified. As there's no formal delegation of authority to staff to approve temporary liquor license extensions, council approval is required. Staff have no concerns with the proposed liquor license extension and recommends approval.
Okay, thank you very much. Jesse Clark, does anyone?
We'll make that motion.
Okay, do I have a seconder for the motion?
Yeah.
Councillor Cadigan for a seconder. Any conversation?
Just that they're a well-established business and they do a great job.
And I'm just wondering if this is an authority that we can delegate. I mean, it's brought to council, other ones have came to council. I'm not sure about that, but just a topic for conversation for some other time. No other conversation? I have a mover and a seconder. I will call for the vote. All in favor? That motion has carried. Okay, now we can move on to item 11 of our agenda, which is notices of motion. We have no notices of motion in. Does anyone have a notice of motion? Seeing none, we can move on to item 12 of our agenda is correspondence for information. Item 12.1 is the County of Peterborough. Bill 98, would anyone like to speak to that item? I think we touched on that there earlier. Go, Councillor Graber, go ahead.
Through you, Mayor, I'll make a motion to receive.
Okay, do I have a seconder for that motion? Councillor Franzen for a seconder. Any further conversation about the item? Seeing none, I will call for the vote. All in favor? That motion has carried. Then we can move on to item 13 of our agenda, which is correspondence for action. We have 3 items there. Would anybody like to speak to any one of those items in particular?
Motion to receive all 3.
Okay. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Graber for a seconder. Any further conversation about the 3 items? Seeing none, I will call for the vote. All in favor? That motion has carried. Okay, now we can move on to item 14 of our agenda, which is bylaws. We have 4 bylaws there. We can do them all at once, or we can do them one at a time.
Six bylaws.
Or 6 bylaws. Oh, you do. You have a plan. You can't count. Go ahead, Councillor Graber. I might be getting tired. I don't know.
Motion to approve all 6.
Okay. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Franzen. Any conversation about any one of those items? Seeing none, I will call for the vote. All in favor? That motion is carried. Now we can move on to item 15 of our agenda, which is announcement. Does anyone have an announcement?
Yeah, just one.
Go ahead, Councillor Franzen.
Galway Hall is having music night, and I've seen this group play before. There's basically country music, but it's country rock. And Neil Young is one of the people that they portray.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, so I think he was Montana Sky is the group he played with previously.
Yeah.
Singer of this, so he believed he lived in the area, in that area.
And what is the date for that?
The 6th of June
Okay.
at 7 o'clock. Tickets are $20.
Perfect. Thank you very
Yeah.
much.
And Gordon Lightfoot's other, Neil Diamond, Neil Young and Gordon Lightfoot. The name just escaped me for a moment.
Yeah, no, that's all good. Good Canadian icons.
Yep.
You seconding that? Or we got more information?
Yeah.
I'm going to second that. Go ahead, Councillor Graber.
There's Lakehurst Hall's hosting a craft show on Saturday, May 16th, so it's coming up. And it's from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. And that's showing off the wares of our community members and that sort of thing. So
Excellent.
should be well attended.
Same day as BCC.
Was BCC, yeah?
Yep. 16 and 17.
I think that was planned.
It might have been planned. It might have been planned. Okay, fair enough. Okay, any other announcements? Seeing none, thank you for bringing them up. Appreciate it. Okay, we can move on to item 16 of our agenda, which is our closed meeting, which we have none. Item 17 is business arising out of the closed meeting that we didn't have. We have none. Item 18 is the adoption of our confirming bylaw. Item 18.1 is the confirming bylaw. Would anybody have a motion for that? Councillor Cadigan for a mover. Deputy Mayor Armstrong for a seconder. I will call for the vote. All in favor? That motion is carried. We have adopted our confirming bylaw. Item 19 is adjournment. Would anyone like to make a motion to adjourn? Councillor Cadigan for a mover, Councillor Raybert for a seconder. I will call for the vote. All in favor? That motion has carried. We are adjourned. Thank you very much, staff. Thank you very much, council, and thank you very much, both virtual and physical galleries for attending.